Hey everyone, welcome to Friday, live at 5. I am ready to be done. The daylight savings thing, what? Whose light is it saving? Can we talk about it? Because I don't get it. I just realized that if I stay in my office, it's dark when I do live at 5. I'm not happy about this because the lighting in here is kind of meh. When I have the window is over here, and so when I have like light coming in, then that kind of helps things because these overhead lights are the worst. I think I'm recording on Facebook and Instagram. Hi everybody. And I think the Instagram, unfortunately, they get to look at these really awesome ceiling lights, but I don't know what else to do, people. I'm sorry. I should have probably prepared better, but I didn't. So here we are. It's Friday, live at 5. How are you? How was your week? Right? I am, like I said, I'm ready to be done. I'm so glad it's the end of the week. And I'm sure that you're feeling like that too. I hope that you have some fun plans cooked up. I am cooking some up with my friend Jen, so I am kind of excited because I'm going to get to play tomorrow a little bit instead of doing all of the list of to-do things, right? So we've been doing a self-care summit, Women of Brilliance Self-Care Summit. And I talked in my talk this week about like to-do lists. They are like the worst because we think they're going to help us. Like, oh, I'll get all this stuff organized and then I'll know and I'll check things off the list as I get them done. But really, it feels like it's this giant report card or something, like showing us how we're not doing very well. You get me? Like, because it's just there's not enough hours in the day, even with daylight savings. Not sure who we saved daylight from, but whatevs, right? So, Well, I hope that you had a great week. Maybe you even got to join us for the self-care summit. I hope so, because it's like, man, it's been so fun. It's been fun to watch these experts in their fields really explain like the power of no. Bridget Sobis joined us on Wednesday evening, and last night was Nancy Deutsch, who is a she's a lot of things, licensed clinical social worker, but she is she wants to help us break through and figure out how to harness our intuition as part of our self-care. And just to harness our intuition. And so that intuition advantage talk that she had last night, I was like, what? That's so amazing. So amazing. So I enticed you tonight. Not sure if it really enticed you, but if you are a Gen Xer, see, like I keep my focus here on women in midlife. So many of us are from Generation X, myself among them. I have been doing a little research. I'm going to be writing some stuff up and incorporating it into my group coaching as I expand group coaching. So I started my first group coaching group right at the end of October, and it is going so well. I love you ladies if you're listening. And I'm going to be doing another one starting in January. So at the top of the year, and I'll be doing a couple master classes here through the holiday season just to get people all excited about doing another group coaching class. But I've been doing some research on midlife, and I found this book. Gosh, of course, I was looking for my phone, and I'm recording with my phone. So hi. I can't remember the name of the author, but essentially it's a book about the Gen X generation and how like we were sold a bad bill of goods, you guys. All great intentions, right? I mean, we were a group of kiddos that were not well watched, right? Left at home, latchkey kids, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. But it wasn't, we didn't have like hands-on helicopter parents. We had parents that did their thing, and we did our thing, and it was very separate stuff. Like, that's just kind of how that went. Like, I remember parent night at any of the sports events that I did. Like, I never had my parents there. I'm a middle child of 5. Like, Never. But I'm pretty sure if I asked all of my siblings, that was like the same for all of them. My parents did come when I did. My mom was a choir director and a liturgical minister, really into music. Had a master's in ministry, but before that she had done her bachelor's degree in music, and she was a pianist and a vocalist and all that stuff. So if I did drama, like if I was in a play or if I did a choir thing, then she would come. But the rest of it, I don't remember my parents being around for stuff. So anyway, so this is an underparented generation, they say. But they also were like the first generation where Title IX had been in place. Women's lib during 60s and 70s, like we had opened up doors. So for women in, this age group, we were like gonna get to go through and do our careers the way we wanted and get education the way we wanted. And there wasn't going to be the barriers because we had the women before us trailblazing with their feminism through and setting it up for us, right? It was going to be great. The 60s, we went through the civil rights movement, and there were, now things in place like EEOC. And so everybody, like color blindness in the 90s, what a joke. That's a talk for a different day. Anyway, like what it was sold as is like, we fixed all these problems. Kids, the world is your oyster. Go for it. You're going to have a great life because you can do anything. And what really happened is that this generation got set up. Do anything became like a mandate. Do everything instead of like, no, all these doors are opened and you should be able to just choose life the way you want. And it has set us up like over and over and over again. And not to mention, like we've gone through a bunch of things now, people, including several recessions. And, like when we were going out into the job market in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, like there were not jobs. There was, and when they were there, they weren't competitively, the salaries weren't competitive. There wasn't great benefits, all these things, right? So this is a generation that holds more debt than any other generation. I can attest to that. I'm still paying on graduate school loans. We were born into families that were more likely torn apart by divorce. So we also have trouble in our relationships. Like there's all these layers of things that make Generation X's American dream not so dreamy. Meh. And so hitting midlife, and midlife in some ways, people, you can think about it like this. Midlife is like the adolescence of adulthood. So go with me on this for a second. Adolescence is when little kiddos are kind of coming into their own, and individuating is what we call it in the biz. But essentially, they're kind of pushing back on all the programming and conditioning of family and institutions and finding themselves and becoming their own little humans, their person. So in the long part of our life that is mostly adulthood, midlife is kind of a version of that. It's where we stop, like, always just buying into the programming and conditioning of social, cultural, religious, family values, where we're choosing to do the things that we want to choose to do and to be a part of. And so it's this weird in-between space where we have bought a bill of goods for a while. We've put up with things in our workplaces and our relationships because we thought we should do that, and we were shoulding on ourselves, but we didn't know any better. And midlife becomes this life transition that's an opportunity for us to really step into living our best life if we want to. Unfortunately for Gen X, that doesn't look like it's going to look like for boomers or the generations ahead of that. We're under a lot of debt. We're under a lot of pressure. We're still, not sure of ourselves, in large part because of what we were set up with. This idea that we should be doing everything and everything well, right? It should have been a you could do anything you want, not a you should do anything or you should do everything. And so life transitioning right now, not great. And then COVID, pandemics. Oh my gosh, like, can we? So now we're sandwiched between parents that we might be caretaking, kids we're caretaking. We probably married later in life or married more than once and are raising young children. Again, I can attest to that. We are in this weird place where we're being pulled in several directions. And the idea that we get to just go through our midlife adolescent, growth as an adult and choose our best life just feels like it's unattainable, totally unattainable. All right, this is where Learn to Love Your Story comes in. I really want to help you know the underlying skills that you need. You don't need to get to a crisis and go into therapy. I want to help you with this. I want to give you these skills that will help you pivot even through this of all the life transitions. In large part for this group of people, there's going to be a lot of extricating of these programs and conditions and rules and definitions of who we should be that we have to dismantle and deconstruct. And then guess what? We get to make the rule book. This is kind of that defining moment in adulthood where we really just decide what serves us and what doesn't. And we kind of make it up as we go, what kind of rules we're okay with and which ones we are just not so okay with. And that is one of the things that in midlife is a cool little nugget that we get to have. And I want you to be able to do that and do it well and not feel like you're still kind of falling under those oppressive ideas of, well, you could do anything, so you should be doing everything. No. You should be able to choose the life that you want, and you can. And I can teach you those skills. And that is what Learn to Love Your Story really is all about. That's what the group coaching for sure is about, walking you through what I have for online courses. But you can take those online courses too, all on your own, if that's something that you'd rather do, and do it as a self-study. It's good stuff, people, and it definitely will help you kind of turn your way through this. But one of the suggestions that I have for you is to start really questioning. Anytime you're shoulding on yourself, how do you know that's something you should be doing? How do you know that you're not living the American dream? What are the rules? What are the definitions? What are the standards by which you're judging yourself with this? I want you to really start to question this and decide, does this serve me any longer? Because if it doesn't serve you any longer, let's help you learn ways to make your own rules and live your life in a way that feels in alignment with what works for you, not what works for society, what works for my boss, what works for a family system that I came out of, a religion I came out. No, what works for you. You will inevitably choose some of these rules because they do fit with you. They are in alignment with where your values are. This is kind of the culture that you've been brought up in. But some of them don't serve us. And I can tell you it's the ones where our social currency is diving in midlife. So it's an old hat and it's one that I talk about a lot, but body image is one of these. As we age, our social currency with our body image tanks. And it's because the ideal is a person that's younger than us. And guess what? We're not going to go backwards in time. We are just going to keep trucking forward on this journey and getting older. So if our social currency is tanking because of a standard that we should look younger, that doesn't serve us. It really just doesn't. And learning how to love the body that you're in is the way to go. And Learn to Love Your Story has these skill sets of teaching you about first becoming aware of what this programming and conditioning is, really being kind and understanding towards yourself. Once you do know that's that compassionate self-awareness. And then learning how to pivot out of that, learning how to create new ways of looking at your self-care and yourself in this growth mindset where I'm gonna charge forth in a different way. I'm gonna love this body because this is the body, this is the age, this is the person that I get to live in for the rest of my life. So I'm just gonna love it because being in here and being in conflict with it for the rest of my life just doesn't feel like it serves me, right? Oh, people, I am so excited. I'm so excited that the holidays are coming. Not excited about the daylight not saving, but I'm excited about going into the holiday season. I have a lot of stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you for free. We will be having 2 more master classes. So if you haven't gotten into the Take Back Your Life masterclass Facebook group, that's where those things happen. I shoot them live, but then they live there for a bit for you to go back in and watch if you weren't able to catch me live. And so if you haven't joined that Facebook group, Take Back Your Life, please do that now, the Take Back Your Life Masterclass Facebook group. I'll invite you in so that you can be here with us. I will be doing that the week after Thanksgiving, the first of these 2 masterclass weeks. So that you'll start to see advertisement for in all of my social media feeds. I'll be talking about it in my lives, all the stuff, right? So make sure that you're part of that so you can at least, see what is this stuff that Dr. Natalie is talking about, that these skills that would help me pivot through this, even if I'm a Gen Xer that was sold a bill of goods that does not feel like the American dream, feels like the opposite of that. Yes, right. So yeah, join that, please. And if you haven't already signed up for the Self-Care Summit, please do. You can head over to learntoloveyourstory.com, and I made it really easy. I just have a pop-up come up. Click on that and you can get us signed up. There are 3 more of those that are happening with some of my fave people. So please join us next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I don't know, it's Friday, guys. Blah, blah, blah. My brain doesn't really compute all this stuff very well. Yeah, come and join us though, because we've got Devin Wolf talking about using the power of your relationships, harnessing your relationships as a form of self-care. What? We have Heather Honig, who is going to talk about how knowing what your energy levels are, knowing your energy and your energy type is really a way to form your self-care in a way that's personalized. And did you know you have an energy type? You do. And she is trained in how to figure that out for you. And so definitely on Wednesday, I would come and watch her, 7 p.m. Central Time. And then we end with Jen Zenz Olson from Laughing Lotus Wellness talking about the radical self-care that can really get you into alignment with what your purpose is while you're here. Man, in midlife, if you want to pivot into your best life, if you want to do that, this is the stuff that you want to be watching and learning from. And it's all free. So go to learntoloveyourstory.com right now and you can sign up, right? I also will, in the comments, put a link to the Take Back Your Life Masterclass so that you can be a participant in that in a couple weeks after Thanksgiving. And learn a little bit about how self-awareness and compassionate self-awareness, breaking down that programming and conditioning, really having a radical self-care mindset, shifting into that mindset, all kind of combine into the new you, which is having a growth mindset, being able to pivot through any of life challenges. All this stuff sounds amazing. You should be doing it because it's all being offered to you for free. So please, I'll put that in the comments. And then just tell me in the comments, what did you accomplish this week? What is something that you're just happy that you were able to check off the proverbial list if you have these lists, or just feel good about that you were able to accomplish this week? I was able to accomplish doing both group coaching and the self-care summit, that part that I presented on, in one night on Tuesday. So I was feeling pretty good about myself that I was able to, after a long work day. I had done a whole work day. So I was feeling pretty good about myself. That is my accomplishment for the week. Tell me what yours is in the comments. And I will see you live at 5 next week. Bye, everybody.